You often hear something like, I hear people describe their awakening as blissful, overwhelming, life-changing. Mine, mine just feels like a kind of stillness, like the volume got turned down. Is that even the same thing? There are many people who can speak about awakening from having studied it, mapped it, put together carefully from other people's account. The directions they give can be detailed, sincere, even beautiful. But there is a difference, and you can feel it, between someone describing a place from photographs and someone speaking from having stood there. I'm not saying this to establish authority. I'm saying it because you deserve to know what kind of voice is speaking to you. And because the question you are asking is too important to be answered by someone who has only read about the destination. So, that question, is that it? That's what's really being asked underneath the comparison with other people's bliss, underneath the uncertainty about whether it counts. There is something quieter, more, more deflating. After all the seeking, after all the practice, the inquiry, the hoping, after everything that pointed toward some unmistakable transformation, this is what been achieved. A stillness, a turning down a volume, something so unremarkable it keeps getting overlooked. And the mind does what minds do. It compares, it measures, it finds the accounts of others, other people's stories about the floods of light, the dissolution, the overwhelming love, and the mind holds them next to this quiet thing and asks, surely not. It can be it. Surely isn't the same. That comparing is worth looking into because it's still the seeking. It is still the same movement that was there before, directed, oriented towards something more, something bigger, something that would finally feel like enough. The content changed, but the structure didn't. And what I mean is that before any of this began, before the inquiry, before the first glimpse, there was a constant background noise, not always loud, sometimes barely noticeable, but persistent, kind of low hum of not quite right, of something slightly off, of being a person who needed things to be a certain way before they could fully relax. That noise was so constant it became invisible, like the sound of traffic outside a window you've lived next to for years. You stopped hearing it, but it's shaping everything: your sleep, your concentration, the quality of your attention, and then gradually or suddenly or so quietly that you almost missed it, it stopped. Not replaced by something better, not drowned out by bliss, just stopped. And what remained was this, the stillness, the ordinary texture of being here, which feels underwhelming only because the noise it replaced was so familiar it had become the baseline. The absence of suffering doesn't announce itself the way suffering does. It simply is. You might say, but I know something that significant would be obvious. The question is, obvious to whom? The man who would have found it obvious? The one waiting for the dramatic shift? The unmistakable sign? The experience that couldn't be argued with? That one was part of the noise. That one was the seeking itself wearing the face of a spiritual aspirant. But when the noise settled, that was settled with it, which is precisely why there is no one standing there saying, yes, this is it, I have arrived. The absence of that declaration is not the absence of arrival, it is arrival. The one who would have celebrated isn't as solid as they were. Someone once described trying to explain this to a friend who hadn't touched it yet. They said it was like trying to describe the color of water to someone who had only ever studied thirst. The words were all there. The sincerity was. But something couldn't be transferred. Something could only be recognized from inside the experience of it. You are inside it. That recognition is available to you right now, not as a conclusion, but as a direct looking. And let's do it now. Notice, is there right now a sense of waiting for something more? A quiet background dissatisfaction with what's simply here? A feeling that this moment is somehow preliminary, that the real thing is still approaching? Don't try to dissolve it. Just see it clearly. That movement, that reaching, notice it is an object, something arising, something that comes and goes. Now, before that movement arises, what's already here? Not as something to find, not as destination, just this. The bare fact of being present, aware. The sound of these words arriving, the weight of the body, the simple undramatic fact of being, with nothing added, with nothing performed. And notice that there is no distance between what you are and this movement. You are not watching it from somewhere else. You are not separated from it by a layer of observation. This is the most intimate thing available. Not intimate like an emotion, not intimate like closeness to another person. Intimate like there is no gap whatsoever. No space between the awareness and what it's aware of. You are not in this moment. You are this moment knowing itself. Rest there. Not to achieve something, not to confirm something, just to be where you actually are, which is here already without having arrived from anywhere. This is not ordinary. It only appears ordinary from the outside. From inside it, there is no outside. And notice what happens next. Almost immediately, sometimes before the stillness has even settled, the mind moves. It asks, good, so what do I do with this? How do I keep it? How do I get back here when it's gone? That movement is worth recognizing for what it is. Not a problem, not a failure, just the seeking, reinstating itself in a new custom. The same reaching, now dressed as a spiritual question. You don't need to fight it. Just see it. The seeing is enough. Now, here's what it means for the question we started with. The bliss others describe, the overwhelming love, the floods of light, those are experiences, real ones perhaps, but experiences arise and pass. They are objects in awareness, just luminous ones. And awareness, being what it is, cannot be contained by any of its contents, however beautiful. What you have touched is prior to experience. It doesn't come and go. It's not affected by moods or meditation sessions or the quality of someday. It is the ground those things arise on, which is why it doesn't feel like a peak. It feels like a floor, solid, unremarkable, always here. The thinking mind will always find that disappointing. It was built for peaks. But the question worth considering is, who is disappointed? Find that one. Is it as solid as it feels? Or is it another arising? Another movement of the noise trying to reinstate itself as the baseline? What does it change, you may ask? Perhaps nothing in the world changes immediately. The same life, the same relationships, the same obligations, the same face in the mirror. But the one who was running from that life quietly, constantly, in search of something that would make it enough, that one is lesser grip. The stories still arise. The old pattern still moves through, but they move through something that knows itself as prior to them. And that changes the texture of everything without changing the content of anything. Not dramatically, not all at once. It's like a room where the windows have been opened. The furniture is the same, but something is different about the air. The quiet you found is not a consolation prize. It is not the lesser version of what someone else got. It is what remains when the noise that was never you finally settles. It doesn't need to be larger. It doesn't need to be louder. It doesn't need to declare itself or defend itself or compare itself to anything. It was here before the seeking began. It will be here when the last thought passes. That is not stillness as an experience. That is what you are. And if right now, watching this, something in you asks, yes, but what do I do with it? Notice that. Just that. The question itself is the answer. That reaching right there is the only thing that was ever in the way.